Hi. And let's get this going. Cool. So, we're going to go over today fitness. And I know a lot of people had some questions about it, so should be a good time. I'm going to go over a little bit about kind of my philosophy on fitness. I'm going to answer your questions that you guys left in the group. And obviously, after that, we're going to go one by one, see if anything else pops up between now and the end of the call. So, all right. So initially, just the more you move, the better off you'll be. I know Michelle asked a questions somewhat to this point, and we'll get to those specific areas. But I think exercise coupled with good nutrition, which all you guys who are on the call have been on lately, I think you're going to be in good shape. You're going to see consistent results week in, week out till you reach your goal. And then it's that much easier to maintain because everything then is just lifestyle, it's just habit. And by the end of this program, it's about 60 days. It takes about 56 days, I believe, is the exact number to form a habit, according to some scientific studies. So that should be good. So in terms of the types of exercises you should be doing, so I do have you guys on a fitness program 3 days a week. The other 2 days I leave open to you guys. And if you want to do more than 5 days of exercise a week, I'm all for it. But I do have a couple of answers to the types. So there's one of the answers is what I prefer, and the other is kind of what you guys should prefer. So the first one is whatever will keep you moving. And what I mean by that is that you want to do stuff that you actually enjoy. So, for example, myself, I was telling you guys about while I was getting eaten alive and I run into chain link fences, I enjoy playing softball. I enjoy doing yoga. I just got a steel club, like a heavy steel club, and it's weighted and you can do a whole bunch of functional exercises with it. So I've been like using that almost every day. So I do stuff that I enjoy. Sometimes I'll run, like it was nice out today. If I had had the time, I would have gone for a run. So it's really whatever you enjoy and whatever will keep you moving. You don't have to listen to me or somebody else to tell you what you want to do. But that being said, I do believe that the best types of exercise, at least from a workout perspective, and this is a great sentence to memorize, this is actually a definition of CrossFit. And I am CrossFit certified. I'm not a huge fan of the heavy lifting component of the fitness methodology, but this is a very good barometer as to when you're trying to decide if a certain workout is going to be effective, particularly for improving your functionality and for assisting you on your road to weight loss. So constantly varied functional movements executed at high intensity. That is the exact definition of CrossFit. And pretty much I use that and I interpret it and I make my own workouts based on that. So what does that mean? Because it sounds like a big bunch of words that don't really seem to have anything to do with one another. So let's break it down into chunks. So first, constantly varied. You want to change things up. Okay, so I mentioned before, I do a very wide range of stuff. You know, some days I play softball, some days I don't play. I do yoga. Some days I'm messing around with my weighted steel clubs. Some days I'm in the gym. Like today I was in the gym with Michelle earlier. Like I change things up, and that way I stay motivated. I know, Lisa, you alluded to this, I believe, earlier in terms of wanting to keep your motivation, not getting bored. It's important to change things up. And also different types of workouts, as I'm sure you guys know over the course of your lives, different types of workouts work different types of muscles, different energy pathways. So it's good to be diverse in what you do. So that's what constantly varied means. Functional movements, this is kind of a long thing, but that just means movements performed in nature. So what does that mean? So things like squats, right? Because if you think about it, we're all sitting down right now, I'm assuming. At least I am. Looks like Jessica and Monica are. Lisa and Michelle, you guys can be walking around the block for all I know. But yeah, basically squats, you know, you get down and up from the chair, from the couch. When you go to the bathroom, you're doing squats all day long, whether you like it or not. That's a functional movement. Lunges, you're bending down to pick something up. That's a functional movement. Plyometric exercises. So, you know, you guys have seen push jacks and clap jacks and mountain climbers and things like that. Calisthenics, same types of stuff. Compound lifts, so that's stuff like deadlifts, bench press, shoulder press, things like that. So those are lifts and resistance training exercises that basically work every part of your body at some point throughout the movement. Movements out of the plank position. I know that not everybody can do those at this point, and that's fine. But movements out of the plank position are important because there are going to be times in life, let's say something rolled up, like if you have a pet, like I have a dog, sometimes I'm playing with the ball with him and it rolls under the couch. I got to get down and I got to get it. I got to push myself back up. It's important to be able to hold yourself up. So movements out of the plank position are great. So building up to that at this point would be something good. Things like pull-ups, dips, running, walking, swimming. So you guys get it. It's just functional movements found in nature, movements that our ancestors and ourselves, we've been doing our entire lives and that human beings have been doing for tens of thousands of years. Then the high intensity portion of that sentence. Workouts done for time, right? So you guys, you've seen the workouts already. Tabata, HIIT, high intensity interval training. Those are high intensity workouts because you have minimal rest. Usually it's a work to rest ratio of 2-to-1. So you're doing the exercise for 20 seconds, let's say, and then you have a 10-second rest before you have to move on to the next for 20 seconds. That's high intensity. CrossFit does workouts for time. I'm not sure if any of you guys are familiar with CrossFit, but they'll say, okay, here's the workout. You have to do 5 rounds for time with these 5 exercises with a certain weight and a certain number of reps per exercise. And you got to try and do it as fast as you can. A popular one is Fran. I throw up almost every time I've done it. It's very difficult, and it's something that it definitely gets your heart rate going. That's the worst 3.5 minutes of my life doing that workout. And then circuit training. So if anyone's ever done circuit training, we do a form of that, but it's interval training because we use intervals. We're not counting reps. So a circuit, like for an example, the 3-minute dynamic warm-up you guys do before a workout, that's an example of a circuit. It's not a particularly demanding circuit, at least I hope it's not, but it's a circuit. So stuff like that, bunching up a bunch of exercises, doing them each 10 times, and repeating it perhaps a few times. That's an example of a circuit. So what did I write here? This type of a workout. So this type of workout, so interval training, high intensity, constantly varied functional movements, executed at high intensity, it burns more fat. It's been scientifically proven that high intensity workouts burn more fat. You don't want to do them every day though. So I know Michelle asked another question, which we'll get into in more detail later, but how often should you work out daily? How much time should you allocate? And it really depends on the intensity with which you're exercising. If you're just walking, let's say, that's a low to moderate impact activity. That's not the same as some of the workouts you guys have seen already. So that's why I only give you 3 high intensity workouts a week. I let you guys pick the other 2. And if you want to do more, you can do more. And it revs your metabolism as well, these types of workouts. There's something called EPOC, where basically your metabolism and your system is revving for up to 72 hours after a workout. So believe it or not, the 20 to 30-minute circuit I'm assigning you guys a few times a week has that type of effect. So if you think about it, if you're coupling that with good nutrition, which all of you guys are, that's why you're losing weight, that's why you're seeing results, and that's why you're feeling better. You're literally fixing your body and fixing up your systems from where you started from. So I'm going to get into questions. Unfortunately, Sheila's not here, but we will get into her questions, and she asked the first one in the thread. So she said, time is an issue. How can she make the most of her time and get quality exercise in daily, and also she can integrate it into her day? So Sheila has a very, very stressful schedule. She won that nutrition challenge, so I had a call with her on Saturday. And yeah, she literally doesn't have time. She wakes up at 4 a.m. She's not in bed till 10, 11 at night. So she's busy the entire time. So how can she get it in? And maybe this is the case for some of you as well. So I say use your breaks wisely. So what I recommended to her privately, and what I'll recommend to you guys if you have a day from hell, like we all do from time to time, is use your breaks wisely. So for example, let's say it's a day where a Tabata workout is assigned, right? So you know, it's the 2 exercise that you do back to back in 4 minutes intervals. You take a little rest and you go. So instead of just doing it all in one shot, including your rest periods, do a 4-minute Tabata interval. First time you get a 5 to 10 minute break. Then if you don't have another 5 to 10 minute break till a few hours later, do the second, and so on. So work it into your day. And that way, and she's been doing that because that was her main struggle so far. And so far, it's been very effective. So if you only have small blocks of time every hour, then you can get your workout in sporadically throughout the day. It doesn't matter. I haven't seen any science or research to validate that working out hard all in one shot does you any better than working out hard in spurts throughout the day. So if you have a day from hell and you really can't step away and take 20 to 30 minutes to get a good solid workout in, and break it up throughout the day when you get a chance. So that's what I would recommend in that case. So moving on, Lisa, I'm going to unmute you here. Hey, Lisa, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, cool. So you said, can we do other workouts? I kind of mentioned this earlier, but yeah. So yeah, I would definitely recommend you diversify. So what have you been doing outside of what I've assigned? I know you mentioned in a post earlier that, yeah, Beachbody On Demand. You have some other DVDs. You've done some yoga.
Yeah, I mean, I've pretty much always worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Lately, stress at work has been a little bit more, so I've had to work a little harder at fitting it in. But I find like if I do half an hour, my mantra is I can do anything for half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of keep saying that to myself. So I've been doing mostly interval HIIT, but all DVDs for the
Mm-hmm.
most part. And then yoga is Tuesday. I take a class.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I mean, what you're saying really, to me, it keeps me motivated because I'm changing it up. Like today, it was one of those crazy days and I was supposed to do a HIIT workout,
Mm-hmm.
but I was not in the mood. But
Right.
instead of not doing it, I did one of these cardio dance things, which to
Mm-hmm.
me is more fun.
Sure. Yeah.
So I figure I'll do my HIIT tomorrow. So I just change it that way.
Yeah, and that's perfect. And I'm very much the same way. So you're onto something, and you may or may not know it, but when I work out, unless it's a softball game and it's, on Wednesday or whenever it is, I actually kind of feel out what I want to do. So let's say like right now, half my body is numb from running 20 miles an hour into a fence. So I would probably have done yoga today, for example. Tomorrow I may feel great. And if it's nice out, I may want to go for a run. The next day I may want to do like a resistance workout, pump some iron, work out some stress. Another day I might want to do a HIIT workout. So you really should listen to yourself. And I think that's great what you did today in that you went from, okay, I had this workout planned. I didn't feel like doing it, but I have a option that will keep me motivated. So that goes to my point earlier. If that's what you feel you need that day, hey, like you said, it's better than nothing. And I'm sure you got just as much out of it as you would have from the HIIT workout. So I think that's good, and I think you should continue to do that so you stay motivated and you continue to incorporate exercise on a regular basis.
And I feel like when I do it this way, like I'm working out probably 6 out of the 7 days now
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't seem like, it's not work to me. Now
Right.
I'm in the mode now, where I kind of feel like if I don't do it, I'm missing something,
Right. Yeah,
which is good.
absolutely. You're building a healthy habit, and that's going to be something that we need to carry over. And I'm sure everyone here has elderly relatives, maybe your parents. But yeah, my grandmother, for example, just to give a somewhat personal story, she used to be extremely active, and she used to actually go get her groceries, like walk to the grocery store from her house, carry the bags home. I'd see her walking around the town that I grew up in. She lived in the same town as I did. And she was very active. But about 5 years ago, she developed a neurological condition called myasthenia gravis, where basically you lose kind of control of your limbs. So like she can't raise her arms up very much, and her head will like droop. She has to get this intravenous treatment once every few months. But, long story short, one of the ways to combat that issue was to continue to exercise. And I see her twice a week, and I make her go through a little bit of something. But I've told her many times, me coming twice a week is not enough. You need to do stuff on your own. And she doesn't. So I guess moral of the story is it's important to develop the habit now, because for example, have another client that I see who's the same age as my grandmother, 83 years old. and he can squat, he can touch his butt to the ground. It's amazing what this guy can do, and it's because he stays active, and he stayed active throughout his life. So it's a great habit to continue to do, and I'm glad that you feel that way, and that's the way I feel too. Like, I feel like if I don't work out on a particular day, unless I'm in extreme pain, I feel like I really missed out, and I get antsy, and I try to find a way to work it in. So I'm glad you're feeling that.
The other thing is, releasing, if like Sunday, it was a bad sinus day for me. And there was just no way I was going to get it in. And at first I started beating myself up over it. And then I finally had to talk to myself and just say, it's okay. You have worked out every single day with one day off, each week. So what if you miss one day? Tomorrow you just get right back on. But that's hard for me, I think, like that forgiving yourself, like you don't want to mess it up.
Right. No, that's definitely big. But yeah, I'm the same way. Even if, like, I threw out my back a couple of weeks ago and I could barely bend down and pick something up off the ground. Like, if I dropped a penny, that would have actually hurt. And it was very painful, and I felt the same way. But yeah, you got to learn to forgive yourself, and it's not your fault. Sinus infections, they come and go, and sometimes they can leave you in so much agony that thinking about doing something strenuous is out of the question. So, don't ever feel bad if you miss a day. Just like you said, get back on the horse the next day, get going again, start another streak, and you'll get right back in there, I'm sure. And I was sick a week or so ago too. I had a bad week. I was hurt and I was sick, and I didn't work out most of that week, and I felt bad, but at the same time, it wouldn't have done me any good. So, don't feel bad about that. You're doing great. You're on the right track, and just keep doing what you're doing. Keep listening to your body. Keep listening to your intuition. And if it tells you need to do a cardio dance one day instead of a HIIT workout, great. If it tells you to run one day, great. Whatever it tells you to do, listen to it. So that way you're more apt to execute on those days.
Yep. Great. Thanks.
Great. No problem. All right. So let's move on here. So I talked about that. All right, Michelle, let me unmute you here. Hey, Michelle, you there?
I'm here.
All right. So you had a 3-part question. So I broke it down into 3 parts. And then if there are any follow-up questions you have, then let me know and we'll get to those. So the first part of your question was, how much time should you put towards working out daily? And I kind of answered this earlier, but just to reiterate, I think it varies depending on how hard you're going to go. So if you're doing like a low to moderate activity where you may not work up much of a sweat, or you work up a little bit of a sweat, breathing doesn't get too heavy, I'd say 30 to 60 minutes a day to allocate. And like Lisa was talking about, I like that she has at least 1 rest day programmed in. So listen to your body, but I'd say on average 30 to 60 minutes a day is good for low to moderate activity. And then if you're doing like a high intensity activity, like what we did on the glider, or one of the workouts that I assign, it's 20 to 30 minutes. I'd say stick with that and don't push yourself too much more, unless you're feeling it. That's going to answer part of one of your next questions. But does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So different workouts to confuse your muscles. That was the second part of your question. So should you do different workouts to confuse your muscles? And 1,000 times, yes, absolutely. Like I said earlier, I think it's big to change things up. So whether it's changing just different fitness modalities, whether you go from yoga to high intensity interval training to going on the glider, lifting weights, whatever it is, I think it's important to change things up, change the exercises up, confuse your muscles, and just continue to go. There's actually, what is the name of it? Damn, I completely forgot. The SAID principle. So there's a principle called the SAID principle. So there was a study done back in the 70s. So have you guys noticed that most male people are overweight, even though they walk probably 10 or more miles a day? They're lugging these giant things, they're lifting heavy packages, and they're active all day. A lot of them aren't in the best shape. And the reason for that is their body's adapted to the demands being placed on it. That's what the SAID principle is. So if you're doing the same workout, like with the same exercises, same number of reps, same duration of time over and over and over again, nothing's going to change after a while. So the more diverse you make your fitness routine, the more likely you'll be to continue to improve and obviously see results.
Okay.
That answer that part of the question?
Yeah, but it gave me another question. How often, like we work out with the weights, like how often should I be trying to push how much weight I lift?
I think, well, that's kind of like a feel thing. So if you feel like today, for example, like last week when you came back, you were feeling a little weak still from your illness. So you dropped the weight because your usual weight that you had been using was too heavy. Now today, you went back to your usual weight, and in some cases, you even pushed beyond it. So I think it's really going to be a feel thing. So if the weight you used last time feels too light now, too easy, then increase the weight. If you're having a bad day or maybe you're under the weather, maybe it's best to lower it. So I think that in terms of that, it's really going to be contingent on how you're feeling that day physically. And if you feel you can handle more, then certainly add more and make it a little more difficult. It's always good to challenge yourself. That's actually a game that I play with myself, is like, if like with this club, for example, it like kills your wrists and your forearms and your shoulders. And even though like I'll barely be able to do whatever movement it is, I'll say, okay, last time I did 8 reps, I'm going to get 9 this time, then 10 next time, and so on. Like I'll mess with myself like that. I'll challenge myself, and that actually will push me harder. So I think the same rule should apply. I'm sorry, my dog is barking. Hang on one sec. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
All right, I apologize. But yeah, so long story short, challenge yourself if you feel you can. If it feels like it's, good, then go with that. Stay with that weight. If you're feeling under the weather, lower it. So I'd say that's more of a feel thing.
Okay.
Okay. Did I answer all your questions on that one?
Yes.
Okay. And then last but not least, is it healthy to add more time to how much you exercise daily? Like I said to the last question, 1,000 times, yes. As you develop more endurance, as your body gets used to the demand of more exercise, of certain types of exercise, if you have the time and you want to go more, I don't see why not. Like the parameters I laid out before in terms of how much time each day you should allocate, I think those are very general. If you could do more and you feel like you want to do more, then by all means, go for it. You're not going to hurt yourself, I don't think, especially doing the types of things that I recommend you do. You're not going to hurt yourself doing that stuff, especially if you feel like you want to do more. So fitness is very, unlike what a lot of gurus will say, fitness is very intuitive, not just what should you do on any given day, but also just in terms of how hard or not should you push yourself on any given day. So if you're feeling great one day and yet you're going to work out, let's say for 40 minutes, and you decide to go for an hour or even 80 minutes, great. That's perfectly fine. If you feel you can do it, you're not straining yourself, and you're feeling great, there's no problem with that whatsoever.
Okay.
All right, any other questions?
Nope, that's it.
All right, cool. All right, moving on. So Jessica, let me unmute you here. All right. So you asked about, is there a cardio routine that you recommend on the general days of the program, and specifically for when it's too cold or it's too dark to go outside? Okay. So Lisa, I kept Lisa's response because that's actually not a bad strategy. And sometimes I do that with myself. So if I want, like, I'm not sure if you guys have heard of DDP yoga, but I love that. And that actually is what got me into yoga. It's like a DVD collection. But that's something that I would do. Yeah. So that's something that I would do actually certain days. Like if I wanted to do yoga and I didn't want to think and I just wanted to go through something, I'd do one of those. So YouTube, if you have any DVDs at home, that's great. Some of the other things too, I gave all of you guys access while you're on this program. I gave you all access to, I think it's over 70 workouts that I have in there, or is it 60? Somewhere around there. So there's a bunch of cardio workouts. I have cardio in every single title that is, or like burn that fat. You know, it sounds like it's intense. If you want to do a workout like that day, if you feel your body can handle it, that's another recommendation. You have access to it, so might as well use it if you want to challenge yourself. But yeah, I think that, you know, like I was telling Lisa and Michelle as well, you do want to change things up. So if you want to try something new, I don't think that's a bad thing. Whether it's one of my workouts or, you know, one of Jessica Smith's or, you know, whatever you have at home. I think that there's plenty that you can do at home as long as you have the space, which I'm sure you're finding with the workouts that I'm assigning. So I think with the same amount of space, you can also get a good cardio workout in a few different ways.
Okay, great. Yeah, I've been trying to go on for walks with the girls when I get home from work. I get home at 4. And then they don't go to bed till 7:30, and then cleaning up for dinner, stuff like that. So I try to do it with them. It's a little bit easier than at 8 o'clock at night. But if it is at night, like I was saying, YouTube workouts, things like that might be helpful. So the DDP yoga is their DVDs.
Yeah, they are DVDs. I know he has an app with some monthly membership. I don't know how much it costs off the top of my head. I have I think a near photographic memory. So I actually memorized all of the exercises after doing it for a week. And I just kind of created my own thing. So I sold the DVDs. Otherwise, I would have probably just offered to send it to you. But yeah, he sells DVDs or he has an app. That's one thing you can do, but that's a paid thing. I'm pretty sure if Jessica Smith's stuff is on YouTube, it's free. And obviously you have access to mine as well in the app, which, you know, also are free, complimentary with this program. So if you wanted to try any of that stuff, that's definitely fine as well.
And then, so you don't recommend doing your HIIT workouts like 2 days in a row, or?
If you feel you can handle it, I would say you can. It depends on how your body's responding. If you feel good the day after and it's a general day, or let's say you just feel like you want to work out, even if it's an off day, then yeah, go for it. It never hurts. The more activity you do, like I said, the very first slide, the more activity you do, the better off you're going to be. So if you feel like you want to do 2 in a row and you want to do a cardio workout on the app, by all means, I think that would be perfectly fine.
And what about kickboxing? I'm sorry, what?
I was just going to say, I just programmed it so that, you know, people of all fitness levels could accomplish it throughout the week. I wanted to space them out because some people can handle more, some can handle less. So that's why I have it designed the way that I do. But if you want to do more, by all means, not a big deal. Okay. And you're about to say something about kickboxing?
Yeah, I've taken a couple a long time ago at the gym. I don't have the gym membership because I end up not being able to go because of my schedule. But do you know of any do you know, because when you Google them on YouTube, there's so many that come up. I don't feel like going through them and just picking a random one. So that's why I was looking for recommendations of either people that have these videos or, you know.
A kickboxing specific video, you mean?
Yeah, or, you know,
something like that, MMA or something. Yeah. I don't have any off the top of my head, but if you want, I can look into it for you and send it to you. Okay. I'll look into it. But yeah, I don't know of any off the top of my head. My dad might even know. My dad's actually like an avid martial artist, so he might know of someone. So I'll ask and I'll get back to you with that.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool. No problem. Any other questions?
No, that's it.
Cool. All right. And Monica, last but not least.
I got nothing.
You got nothing? You're all good?
You answered everything. It was great.
All right, great. I'm glad. So I'm going to go through the roll one more time. Monica, I won't go through you again since you're all good. Actually, I will. Maybe something will pop up, but I'm going to go back through it. So, Michelle, any other questions that might have popped up since we last spoke?
No other questions, but I do have something for Jessica. Turbo Jam is like kind of a kickboxing, dancey kind of video. It's a lot of fun. It's really good. It's quick. It's 30 minutes.
Oh,
and
perfect.
I'm sure she can get that on YouTube too.
Turbo Jam.
I've
Okay.
heard of that actually.
Charlene Johnson is her name.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
All right. Jessica, any other questions?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Good. All right. And Lisa, last but not least, any questions?
I just want to know who this DDP guy is.
I actually took a picture. He was a
I
guy.
know you had him on Facebook.
Yeah. Okay. So long story short, he was my second favorite professional wrestler when I was growing up, and he actually broke his back. And so in the rehab process, his I think now ex-wife turned him on to yoga, and it really helped him rehabilitate himself. And he got good enough where he developed his own program. And so my friend actually got it for me as a gag gift maybe 6 or 7 years ago. At the time, all I did was lift weights. So I was really anti-yoga. I was like, oh, it's for sissies. I'm never going to do it. And then I was in a lot of pain. Like I used to power lift and lift all crazy kinds of weight. So I did a lot of damage to my neck and my spine. So I was like desperate. So I'm like, I'll try this program, with this on this gag gift. And it turned out to be one of the best things I ever did. So some of the things you guys may have seen, like broken table crunches, things of that nature, I actually learned that by doing his DVDs. So from a fitness perspective, it's important too for you guys to know to steal from the best. So that's a good move. And his program is very good. If you want to learn yoga, it's like a combination of yoga and calisthenics. So there's some cardio involved as well. It's pretty good. But yeah, that's who he is. And my dad, actually, I turned my dad onto it as well because my dad is the least flexible human being I've ever seen in my entire life. And I turned him on to the yoga thing. He actually watched wrestling with me. My dad's like an older kid, so he really liked it. And so I was at Comic-Con a couple weekends ago, whenever it was, and I decided that he had a booth that I would meet him, take a picture. I talked to him for about 10 minutes. It was cool. So that's who DDP is.
Okay, I feel better now.
What was wrong before?
No, I didn't know who this guy was. And when I just Googled it while you were talking about DDP yoga, and I'm like, hey, that's the guy he was on Facebook with. Yeah.
So yeah, that's but he has a good program. So if you ever wanted to learn about yoga,
I do yoga all the time. I love it. But hey, I'm always looking to do different.
It's different for sure. I know like I said before, his app has a monthly subscription. I don't remember how much it is. I know it's not too expensive, but I know it's not like ridiculously cheap either. And then I think the DVD program is like $99 for like everything that goes from like beginner to advanced.
Right.
But yeah, very good program.
Check it out. Okay.
All right. So let me open it up with everyone one last time before we all hop off. Oh, and there was one other thing I wanted to go over, but okay. All right. Any other questions? Anybody? Feel free to chime in. Last chance for questions. Nope.
I'm good.
All right. So I'm having another challenge. So Sheila won the nutrition challenge, but let's do another one. It's fun for the Grand Salami, which is another call with me. We can do dietary analysis. We can do whatever. It doesn't really matter, but we'll do a 15-minute call. I gave her an hour, so 15 minutes is an extremely loose time frame. But yeah, so basically going forward, I know today's supposed to be a rest day. I know some of you have checked in and done other things today, but going forward after tonight, I'm going to be asking about fitness and nutrition. So who got their workout in, who got their nutrition in. It's going to be contingent on the day. And whoever's most consistent with doing both will get the call with me. There can be multiple winners, but that'll be a fun challenge. So you guys have definitely been amongst the most consistent in the group, so I would definitely recommend continuing. And that way you can just fire questions at me for 15 to 60 minutes, and it'll be good. All right.
You just have a whole group of overachievers here, Pete.
Good. I was selective. I turned away like 4 times the number of people I accepted into the group. So, yeah, there you go.
No, I love this part. The accountability for me is
love
key.
it.
Yeah, it's great.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Game.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said it makes it like a game.
It is, and now we have another game. So we have a week-long game for a big prize, such a prize. But yeah, it'll be fun. But it's good. It's good to keep you accountable. That's how I work privately with people as well. I check in with them every day, make sure they're staying on track, and if not, we figure out what's going on. So yeah, this has been good. It's been a good group so far, and I know Michelle was telling me that her and Lisa. We're trying to get some of the others who are a little more silent in, but yeah, let's try and push them out of their shells. Otherwise, next week I'm calling them out. But cool. So, all right. So if we don't have any other questions, you guys know about the challenge. Tonight's just nutrition. If there's nothing else, have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Remember,
Hi, girls. You better be on. You better get your videos up next week.
Next week we'll.
I promise. It's Tuesday. I'll do it.
yeah, calls on Tuesday. That's the last thing.
Some kind of clothes. Doesn't matter what kind of clothes you got on, just something.
Yeah, you can wear like a Jason mask from Nightmare on Elm Street for all we care. All right, guys.
Okay, good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Alrighty.